I never dreamed when I got on that plane that how much life could change. This show changes people's lives. All you have to do is just have the guts to go up there and walk across the stage. Trust me, it's a trip.
When the lights went down and the confetti fell, Richard Goodall's win on America's Got Talent felt like a real fairy tale. An ordinary janitor suddenly became a national hero. But the story didn't end there. Months later, the truth behind the spotlight started to show, and what happened next shocked the entertainment world.
As I'm getting ready to walk out on stage, first off, I was like, I don't want to talk to Simon.
They really are the ones that encourage you to sing?
Yes. Nobody knew what to expect at the end of I have to take it in. It's kind of like seeing myself in the third person.
Simon Cowell, the man known for his harsh critiques, was reportedly brought to tears over Richard's unexpected fate. What could possibly make the tough judge break down like that? Join us in this video as we reveal the details. Richard Goodall's situation that moved Simon Cowell to tears. Richard Goodall lived a quiet and ordinary life for many years before anyone outside his small community knew his name. He worked as a janitor at a middle school in Indiana, spending his days cleaning hallways, emptying trash cans, and keeping classrooms in order. His life followed a steady routine shaped by responsibility and necessity. Music had once been something he dreamed about, but over time, it became something he kept to himself. He did not see himself as a performer or a star. To most people around him, he was simply a hard-working man doing his job and trying to make ends meet. Those who knew him well later said that he was humble and reserved. He did not talk about his singing or try to draw attention to himself. Music existed quietly in the background of his life, something he returned to in private moments rather than chasing publicly. His focus remained on work, stability, and paying his bills. Fame was not something he imagined for himself, and he did not believe that opportunities like that were meant for someone living his kind of life. Everything changed when a short video of Richard singing was recorded during a school event. He was singing in an unexpected, straightforward video with no intention of drawing attention to himself. Viewers were taken aback by the passion in his voice. It sounded real rather than practiced. An increasing number of people showed amazement and praise as the video went viral. Many people were shocked to learn that someone outside of the music business had such a strong voice. The video quickly gained hundreds of thousands of viewers and kept growing. People connected to a popular television talent show saw the footage as it went viral. Richard's singing caught the attention of Simon Cowell, who is known for using a critical ear to assess talent. Not only was the vocal ability good, but so was the emotion behind it. Instead of relying just on instruction, the emotion in his voice showed life experience. It was obvious that he was passing something more profound than just singing a song. He stood out from many other applicants thanks to this trait. Richard was invited to audition on a national stage, a moment that completely altered his life. Traveling far from home and standing under bright lights in front of a large audience was overwhelming for someone who had never lived outside his routine. During his audition, his nerves were visible, but once he began singing, the focus shifted entirely to his voice. The room was silent as the judges listened. At first, Simon Cowell's remarks were confusing, but they soon became praise. It was clear that Richard had gone to the next level when the judges clapped. Richard's life changed after the audition. He was no longer unknown. Media sites emphasized the contrast between his employment as a janitor and his singing prowess, and clips of his performance were widely spread. In public, people recognized him and addressed him as though they were friends. The focus was fierce and solid. His quiet life was upended by the sudden exposure, despite the fact that many praised his story as inspirational. Under the joy and praise, Richard was coping with deep emotional suffering. His first wife had died of cancer, and the grief affected him for a long time. He hardly talked about how this loss had affected his life. That grief stayed even as his career started to take off. Those who knew him well saw that although he thanked supporters and grinned, he always appeared deeply burdened. Viewers started to notice that something was bothering him as the battle went on. Online speculation about whether he was experiencing emotional issues grew. Later, Simon Cowell faced this head-on and confirmed that Richard was bearing a serious emotional load. He sobbed as he said that the delay and tightness people saw were caused by unresolved pain rather than skill. Many people's understanding of Richard's journey changed as a result of this acknowledgement. His success was now seen as something growing alongside deep personal suffering, rather than as something that was solely enjoyable. Since Simon has also lost loved ones, he could identify with Richard. Richard Goodall's story changed from one about skill to one about the price of unexpected fame. So how did a man who spent decades living quietly, singing only for himself, finally find the courage to step forward and allow the world to hear the voice he had kept hidden for so long? Stay tuned for more. A life that took its time to be seen. For most of his life, Richard Goodall lived in a way that was calm, steady, and almost invisible to the outside world. He did his job carefully and with pride, even though it was not glamorous. He did not expect recognition or praise. He simply believed in doing what needed to be done, day after day. He sang when he was alone, when no one was watching, and when it helped him release feelings he did not always talk about. Singing was personal to him. It was not something he used to impress people or draw attention. For a long time, he believed that dreams like music careers were meant for other people, not someone living his kind of life. Years earlier, Richard had tried to step onto a bigger stage when he auditioned for The Voice. That experience ended in disappointment when he did not move forward. The rejection hurt, but he did not allow it to turn into anger or bitterness. Instead, he returned to his normal life. He kept working. He kept singing quietly. And he learned how to live with the idea that some dreams may never fully come true. When Richard later decided to audition for America's Got Talent, it was not because he suddenly believed he would win. It was more about giving himself one more chance to be heard. Even then, he carried very low expectations. Standing on a stage in front of judges and cameras felt overwhelming. He was not used to attention. He was used to being unnoticed. As the competition progressed, something unexpected began to happen. Audiences started to connect with Richard's voice and presence. He did not rely on tricks, dramatic performances, or over-the-top movements. He simply stood still and sang. His voice carried honesty, age, and experience. People listening could feel that his songs came from a place of real life, real loss, and real endurance. One of the most emotional moments of his journey came when Richard was invited to perform alongside members of the band Journey. Their music had followed him through different stages of his life, including times of struggle and hope. Sharing a stage with them felt unreal to him. It was not just a performance. It felt like a full-circle moment, as if years of quiet listening and private singing had finally led to something meaningful. In September 2024, Richard Goodall was announced as the winner of America's Got Talent, Season 19. The win came with a $1 million prize and instant national recognition. For many viewers, his victory felt deeply emotional. It showed that success does not always come early in life. Sometimes it comes after decades of patience, disappointment, and quiet perseverance. Just before the final results were announced, Richard experienced another major moment in his personal life. He married his longtime partner, Angie Vanovan, in Pasadena, California. The timing was intense and emotional. With so much pressure surrounding the competition, the marriage gave him stability and comfort. Angie had supported him throughout the process, encouraging him when doubt appeared and reminding him of his worth when fear tried to take over. Soon after the win, Richard faced a physical setback when he needed hernia surgery. The surgery forced him to slow down after months of stress, travel, and emotional buildup. Recovery gave him time to reflect. It reminded him that even when life changes suddenly, the body and mind still need rest. Success did not remove the need for care. It made it even more important. After the applause faded and the cameras turned away, how did Richard Goodall handle the weight of sudden success while trying to hold on to the simple life that shaped him? Let's delve deeper. Holding on to himself after everything changed. After winning a national competition, many people expected Richard Goodall to completely change his life. Some assumed he would leave Indiana behind, quit his job, and chase fame without looking back. Instead, Richard made a choice that surprised many. He returned home and went back to work at the same middle school where he had spent more than 2 decades. He walked the same halls and greeted the same students. For him, this was not about refusing success. It was about staying grounded. Richard explained that the school was part of who he was. The routine gave him peace. After experiencing sudden attention and pressure, familiarity felt comforting rather than limiting. He wanted to continue working there for as long as he could, even while exploring new opportunities slowly and carefully. Fame did not erase his identity. It simply added a new layer to it. Angie remained a strong presence in his life during this transition. Her support went beyond encouragement. She helped him confront parts of his past that he had avoided for years. With her support, Richard began searching for his biological father, someone he had never known. Eventually, they reunited. His father was a retired K-9 police officer and Army veteran. The meeting was emotional and overwhelming, opening the door to a part of Richard's life that had been missing. Through that reunion, Richard also discovered siblings he had never known existed. The experience brought a sense of connection and closure that he had not expected to find later in life. It reshaped how he understood himself and where he came from. These discoveries did not make headlines, but they deeply affected him on a personal level. During his time on the show, Richard had also received financial support from people who believed in him. Crowdfunding helped cover travel and living expenses tied to the competition. This support eased the financial pressure that often follows contestants. More importantly, it reminded him that people cared about his journey, not just his talent. After his win, performance invitations began arriving steadily. Richard sang at professional basketball games, public events, and community celebrations. Each appearance helped him grow more comfortable with larger audiences. Still, he chose not to rush into a fast-paced celebrity lifestyle. He balanced performances with rest, family time, and work. His hometown recognized his achievement as well. Local leaders honored him with a key to the city, celebrating not only his victory, but the pride he brought to the community. At the middle school where he worked, students and staff held a celebration in his honor. To them, he was not just a television winner. He was someone familiar, someone kind, and someone who had always shown up. Richard Goodall's story is not just about talent or victory. It is about time, patience, and remaining true to oneself even when life changes dramatically. His journey shows that success does not have to erase humility, and that recognition does not have to replace integrity. His life continues forward, not as a sudden transformation, but as a careful, steady expansion of a path he had already been walking for years. So after the world watched him rise from a school janitor to a national star, What did Richard do next? And how did he handle the life that came after the spotlight faded? Let's learn more. Life after the spotlight. The journey beyond the golden buzzer. Richard Goodall's life quickly changed after his big moment on America's Got Talent. He got a lot of chances as a result of the show's notice, and record labels began contacting him. He made a big move when he signed his first record deal. His debut album, Believe Again, was released as a result of this agreement. Along with some covers, new songs that he created were released. This album shows that he was a real recording artist rather than only a one-time TV star. Richard's invitation to perform at Nashville's Grand Ole Opry was one of the most memorable events following the performance. The audience responded when he entered the stage. He was given a standing ovation for his performance. This showed a lot of people that his talent was real and not just a TV moment. Richard stayed close to his hometown of Terre Haute, Indiana, despite his immense fame. He kept his relationship with the school where he worked for many years and made frequent visits. He took care to remember those who had helped him before he became well known. This showed that his success did not change his morals or his heart. Also, Richard created the Believe In Fund at Choney Rose Middle School. The fund was created to assist and help students who wish to pursue their musical goals but lack the necessary funds. He wants to help young people and offer them an opportunity to showcase their talents through this fund. This gesture showed just how important it was to him to give back to his community. Richard was also recognized and respected for his successes by the city of Terre Haute. He received the city's key, a symbolic praise given and bestowed upon those who uphold the dignity and pride of their community. Students, faculty, and city officials attended the celebration, which showed the town's love and support for him. Also, Richard's tale became a real symbol of hope. He was viewed by many as a clear proof that dreams are ageless. It is never too late to pursue your passion, as shown by his ascent from janitor to national celebrity. His path impressed many people who saw his success as evidence that hope and faith can result in a serious and important transformation, even in later life. Richard started visiting schools all throughout the nation after winning the show. He told the pupils his tale and inspired them to pursue their goals despite obstacles. He advised them to maintain their commitment and self-belief. His message was simple but powerful. Keep working, stay true to what you love, and never give up. Richard also continued to work on his music career. He recorded and released new songs, and his album was described as a reflection of his journey. The album showed the years of dreaming, the hard work, and the moment when his efforts finally paid off. It was more than just music. It was a story told through songs. Overall, Richard Goodall's life after America's Got Talent showed that success does not have to change who you are. He stayed humble and true to his roots. He used his new platform to give back to his community, inspire young people, and keep building his music career. His story remains a strong reminder that talent, heart, and persistence can change a person's life at any time. Now that Richard had proven his talent on a national stage and begun to build a new life, what happened next when he tried to keep his feet on the ground while the world kept pulling him higher? Let's learn more. Staying grounded while the world watched. After his rise on America's Got Talent, Richard Goodall faced a big challenge that many new stars must deal with: how to balance his old life with his new opportunities. Even though he was getting more attention and more offers, he chose to keep working as a janitor at Choney Rose Middle School. He said the job was like a safety net, a stable place that made him feel secure while his life changed so quickly. He also said the school was supportive and allowed him time off for music and TV appearances. However, he knew that his music career would eventually require more time, and he admitted that he would have to decide one day whether to continue working at the school or pursue entertainment full-time. For now, he planned to delay that decision as long as possible, keeping his roots in place while his music journey continued to grow. Richard's story also became a message of hope for many people, especially students. He traveled to schools across the country to share his story and encourage young people to follow their dreams. He spoke directly to students about the importance of staying persistent and believing in themselves. His message was that dreams can still come true, even if life seems ordinary. Richard wanted students to understand that success is not only for certain types of people or backgrounds. He wanted them to know that with hard work and belief, they could achieve something meaningful no matter their situation. His story became a symbol of inspiration for those who needed proof that persistence can lead to real change. Along with his motivational work, Richard also took part in major performance opportunities. He sang the national anthem at an Indiana Pacers basketball game, bringing his voice to a large audience. He also opened for Howie Mandel at a live show, which he described as unreal because he never expected to share a stage with such a famous entertainer. These events gave him exposure to new audiences and showed that his talent could reach beyond television into the wider entertainment world. Even with all the attention and success, Richard stayed humble and grounded. He did not let fame change who he was. He often spoke about staying down to earth and focusing on what he loved most: singing and connecting with people through music. Richard also said he did not know exactly where his career would lead him, and he did not have specific goals or plans. Instead, he said he wanted to keep doing what he loved and let things happen naturally. This calm and honest attitude became part of what made him relatable and inspiring to many fans. Richard's future goals stayed simple and clear. He did not want fame just for the sake of being famous, and he did not feel pressured to chase a specific career path. He believed his success came at the right time and saw himself as a normal person who followed a dream. He hoped that his story would encourage others to step out of their comfort zones and take chances, even if it meant facing fear or rejection. Richard believed that if he could go from being a school custodian to performing on a national stage, then anyone could reach their goals with dedication and courage. His journey offered hope and reminded people that persistence and sincerity can lead to something remarkable. Overall, Richard Goodall's life after America's Got Talent shows a man who chose to stay true to his roots while accepting new opportunities. He balanced his job with his growing music career, continued inspiring others, and stayed humble despite growing fame. His message of hope and perseverance continues to touch people, reminding them that dreams can come true no matter how ordinary life may seem. So now that Richard's life was changed forever by his AGT win, what does that $1 million prize really look like? And is it truly worth what it seems? Let's find out. The hidden cost of winning: what a GT's dollar prize really means. America's Got Talent is known for giving its winner a big prize. The show tells viewers that the winner gets $1 million. But the truth is not as simple as that. The prize is not paid in one big payment. Instead, it is paid in smaller amounts over 40 years. That means the winner receives $25,000 each year before taxes. So the winner does not actually get $1 million at once. This changes the way people think about the prize. There is another option. Winners can choose to take a lump sum payment instead of the yearly payments, but this lump sum is much smaller. After taxes, it usually falls between $300,000 and $400,000. For someone who expected to get $1 million, this can be a big shock. The prize is not as life-changing as it sounds on TV. The show markets the prize as a huge reward. It makes viewers believe that the winner will become instantly rich and famous. But in reality, the prize is more complicated. The public sees the million-dollar check and assumes the winner is set for life. Yet, the payout rules show a different story. This gap between what is shown and what is real can be misleading. On top of the prize structure, winners must sign contracts that give the show's producers control over their careers. These contracts include management terms. This means the producers can decide on the winner's performances, appearances, and recordings. The winner does not have full control over their own career. This can be a major issue for someone who wants to make music on their own terms. The contracts also require the winner to share part of their earnings with the producers. This includes money from performances, endorsements, and other work. So, even after the prize, the winner still loses a portion of their income. This adds to the financial loss caused by the annuity structure and taxes. It also creates a sense of dependence on the show. Winning a GT also brings major pressure. Suddenly, the winner becomes famous and is watched by millions. The media and fans start paying attention to every detail of their life. This constant attention can be overwhelming. Many winners struggle to handle the sudden fame and the stress that comes with it. The pressure can affect their mental health and emotional well-being. Even though the financial and legal issues are heavy, AGT still gives winners something valuable: exposure. The show reaches millions of viewers, and the winner becomes known across the country. This kind of exposure can open doors. It can lead to new opportunities, like performance deals, recording offers, and public appearances. For some winners, this exposure is the most important part of winning. However, not every winner succeeds after the show. Some build strong careers and stay in the public eye. Others slowly disappear and return to their old lives. Success after a GT depends on how the winner uses the platform. It depends on their planning, strategy, and ability to stay relevant. To make the most of the opportunity, winners need a clear plan and strong branding. They must use social media, create new music, or find other ways to stay connected to their audience. Winning is only the beginning. What comes next is the real test. Having a support system is also very important. Family, friends, and mentors can help winners stay grounded. They can offer guidance and emotional support when fame becomes overwhelming. Without this support, winners may struggle to cope with the pressure. Some winners also use their fame for good causes. They speak up about important issues or support charity work. This shows that the value of winning is not just money or fame. It can also be the chance to influence others and make a positive impact. In the end, the AGT prize is not as simple as it seems. The real value of winning lies in the opportunities that follow and how the winner chooses to use them. So, now that we've seen how the AGT prize really works, what happens when fame, money, and power collide with the private struggles of the people behind the spotlight? Let's take a closer look. The hidden price of power. Simon Cowell is now 65, but his life has not been as glamorous as people think. Behind his public success, he has faced scandals, painful accidents, and personal losses that changed him deeply. The world only sees his sharp personality and big success. But the truth is that he has gone through serious battles that most people never notice. Simon was born in London in 1959. His childhood looked fancy from the outside, but inside his home, there was little love. His mother was a ballet dancer who stayed emotionally distant. His father worked in the music industry and only showed love through success. Simon rarely heard words like, "I am proud of you." Instead, he faced constant pressure and comparison. This made him feel unwanted and invisible. School was not better. Simon struggled with his studies and did not fit in. Teachers ignored him, and other students did better than him. These early experiences made him feel like he did not matter. As he grew older, these feelings became the reason he worked so hard. He wanted to be noticed and respected. Simon's career began with humiliation. He started working at EMY in the mailroom, sorting letters and making coffee. In a world full of stars, he felt invisible. He later said this time was very painful. He felt like he had no identity. But he did not give up. In the 1980s, Simon started his own record label called Fanfare Records. At first, it was a success. He enjoyed the attention and felt like he finally belonged, but the success did not last. The music trends changed and sales dropped. By the end of the decade, his label failed and he had debts. He returned to his parents' home feeling like a failure. Friends disappeared, and he felt invisible again, now as a failed businessman. Even so, Simon kept going. He rebuilt his career and became one of the most powerful people in entertainment. When he appeared on shows like Pop Idol, American Idol, and The X Factor, his blunt judging style made him famous. People liked his honesty, but it also made many hate him. He became a target of public anger. As his fame grew, he also became lonely. The pressure, constant work, and public attention drained him. Even though he built a huge empire, he felt isolated and stressed. In 2013, Simon faced a major scandal. News broke that he was expecting a child with Lauren Silverman, who was married to his friend. This caused public outrage and damaged relationships. Simon later said he regretted his actions and had no excuses. The scandal hurt his reputation deeply. Simon also suffered serious injuries. In 2020, he had a severe electric bike accident at his home in Malibu. He broke his spine and needed surgery. The injury almost left him paralyzed. The recovery was long and painful, showing that even a powerful man like Simon is still human and fragile. Simon Cowell's story shows that success often hides pain. He built an empire, but he paid a heavy price. What do you think about the situation of Richard Goodall? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for joining us as we uncovered the real story behind Richard Goodall's rise to fame and the life he chose after winning America's Got Talent. If this deep dive helped you understand the truth behind the spotlight, don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video on your screen for other stories. See you there.